What is up, everybody? It's Josh and welcome to a brand new journey and welcome to another video. Today we are here back at Busch Gardens, Tampa, and we are here to check out everything Howl-O-Scream. So we're going to talk about announcements, we're going to talk about new stuff coming to the park, we're going to talk about returning things, and stuff is finally starting to go up around the park for preparation for Howl-O-Scream. I think we have one scare zone starting to get set up, and there's just a few props going up around the park. So that's basically what we're doing today. I got David here. Wherever he went, there he is. Got David here with me today. We're really just kind of gonna go with the flow. I do have to talk about something that happened in the park when I got here, so we'll talk about that. But with that being said, if you guys are ready to go on this fun-filled, kind of spooky-filled journey, well, let's go. Alrighty, so we are actually walking up to our first scare zone, which has been moved. It's not the same location that it was last year. This location is for Sin City Zombies. Now, I'm super excited for it to be in this area, I think, because it's a little more compact. This is kind of like San Francisco in Universal. It's very compact, very small, but I'm definitely excited to see how they do this scare zone here. I hear we're getting some new props for this one this year, so super excited. It looks cool. So we are looking at the new roller coaster, Phoenix Rising, and just right back here is where Residents' Home for the Holidays was, but this will be the new house this year, Shadows of Wonderland. Alrighty, so we are here at our next location for a Howl-O-Scream haunted house. This haunted house will be returning, and it is the Forgotten Uprising. Now, Forgotten Uprising is literally right behind Tigress. We would be able to take a walk through the queue, but not today. So basically, you'll enter the house here. This will be the start of the queue line for the house. You'll go around, and the entrance will actually be right over there. So we are standing in the location of what was Raven's Mill. Now this year, Raven's Mill is returning, but with a all new location. Now we don't necessarily know the location right now, but I think I have a pretty good idea of it, and we will be walking that way momentarily. But yeah, this year, I don't see a scare zone being up here. If there's a scare zone up here, I could see them possibly doing Little Nightmares right here, because that is a returning scare zone that was not here last year, but here previous years. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. So we are currently on this kind of walkway right over by Sesame Street. This is normally where In the Shadows would have been. There's nothing going on right now with construction or anything. They don't even have an area set up for like a bungee or nothing. So I have a feeling, one, nothing will be coming to this location this year, or two, they're just so behind that they literally only have some facades up for houses backstage and one scare zone. Okay, so we are currently in the garden kind of area of the park. It's right across from the Coke Pavilion. And look at what we have here. It looks like it's something to do with the returning house that'll be here, which is Witch of the Woods Rise.
Lizards literally.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, two lizards literally crashed into your foot.
What's up, bunnies?
I started laughing. I literally saw all that happen.
What's up, bunnies? Okay, they're mad at me. No! Chase! So, like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the lizards hitting my shoe. We're in the area location for a returning house, which is Witch of the Woods Rise of the Coven. So basically, this house is going to be revamped. And from the looks of it, there's a lot of these like camouflage walls up. I don't know if you can see that one, but it's kind of like back in the corner there. So they are really kind of redoing this, and I think it might work out because there was like nothing ever here. It was kind of just wide open. I don't know. I'm super excited, and David did point out there's a lot more like shrubbery and like deadness. So I don't know. Technically, I'm allowed to walk over here. So yeah, they have lanterns up. Yeah, they're really working on this. Super excited. So we are currently looking at Gwazi Field, which is the festival walkway. That's kind of where they have food booths and stuff, but they're not doing a show out in Gwazi Field this year. So I'm wondering what they're going to put out here. Now, my theory is they might do a scare zone out here. That'd be cool. Like when they did Meat Market, they could do it in like the festival walkway. It'd be very interesting to see because they haven't done it since. I don't know. Just have to wait and see because there's like literally nothing up around the park other than Sin City, like I said, and maybe a few like facades for houses that you can't really see unless you go into a specific type of like ride line. See guys, this is what I mean. Why does this say it's until November 3rd, but if I go on the website and I look at a sign up front of the park, it says till November 2nd. Get your shit together. Alrighty, so we are back at the front of the park. Literally, here is Moroccan Delights. There's David, there's the exit of the park. We're back over here, and there's really nothing new. The only thing that's not new, but I showed last time was, see, this says November 2nd. What did the other sign say? November 3rd. So like, this is where it's confusing because it says tickets, buy early and save. If I scan that QR code, it's gonna tell me the 2nd, but what if I wanna go the 3rd?
They can't, because they're not here. They're not, well, they'll be here, but they're not open.
I mean, but it says...
But it says the 3rd on the sign outside and that one over there.
So...
But I was telling Josh, they should have like a magnet and just kind of put over it, like.
But it's not
like
that hard to change the sticker.
3 a.m., 12 o'clock, 3 a.m. or something like
right.
that. Versus changing all the signs.
Or just be smart the first time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, November 2nd would make sense because.
It does. They don't always have a Sunday. Some places don't close on a Sunday.
So November 2nd would be okay. Cool. It ends November 2nd.
Right.
Because no one's really gonna think, oh, 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
No, right. I don't know. It's weird, and I got flamed when I posted about it because people were like, I don't know how to tell time, and I'm like, but I do. Because then that means if you're telling me it ends at midnight, that's why it's saying the 3rd, then that would technically mean you could still go the 3rd and it would end midnight on the 4th, but then the 2nd, see how it sounds to somebody who's trying to explain everything? Alrighty, so we are looking at the location for the return of D.H. Bagham's Circus of Fear. This house was one of my favorite houses last year. I had a bad run through like once, but then I told you it changed my mind completely. I am super, super excited for this house alone. Alrighty, so we're done here at Busch Gardens. We're gonna head back to the office, talk about everything we kind of saw today, and talk about all the announcements that have unofficially, officially been announced for Howl-O-Scream this year. So houses, scare zones, shows, all that fun stuff. So let's head back to the office. Alrighty, so we have made it back to the office from Busch Gardens. It was a day. So I want to start off by talking about the issue that I had when I got to the park. So honestly, I was trying to have a really good day at Busch Gardens. It's been a while since I was able to like actually enjoy the park with nothing happening. Well, today spared no expense and I was not able to have a good start to the day. So I walk up to the front of the park and not only do I, but thousands of other people that come into this park take either a picture or some type of video of the Busch Gardens sign that is literally above like the security check-in area. Now, I do know that you're not allowed to film security, so security measures, like anything going on. That's with any theme park and even the airport. However, I did not film any of the security, and you guys will see or have already seen the clip of me just filming the sign. It was just for B-roll. So I was getting ready to go through security and the lady stops me and she goes, "You're not allowed to be filming in this area." And I was like, "Ma'am, I film this exact kind of location area all the time because the sign is right there welcoming me to Busch Gardens." And she's like, "No." And so I did show her the footage and I was like, "See, I did not film anything to do with security or anything. Everything was above the building, so it was just the sign." And so I guess she just didn't like me proving myself, and then she was like, "Well, you're just not gonna film in the park at all today." And I was like, "Okay." And then I just moved on, scanned my ticket. I'm not gonna sit here and fight. There's no point. So after I scan my ticket and get to the park, I go to guest services because I wanted to verify that maybe things changed about filming in the park just in general. So I went up and I was like, hey, so I'm here like every week, every other week, just depending on, you know, when I can be here. But every time I'm here, I'm filming something. So did policies for filming change within your park? And the gentleman was like, well, let me go talk to my manager. So this is where things got a little weird because the manager never came out to talk to me, and he came back really quick with an answer. So I waited about, not gonna lie, I waited about 30 seconds, and he came back with an answer, and he said, security makes all the rules, and they know pretty much all the updated policies for the park. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird because I've never heard the security makes all the rules, but alrighty. So I didn't fight with him either. I then later reached out and kind of tried to ask somebody that was within the security team, and I found out that no, I'm allowed to record as long as I'm not doing anything inappropriate or disturbing anybody and making basically anybody feel uncomfortable. So we know that not only do the employees, like guest services, don't know a correct answer, but neither does security. So yeah, that was the start of my day. But with that, let's get into everything Howl-O-Scream 2024, their 25th anniversary of horror. And it's horror, all right. It's horror in a not so good way. I'm worried. So last year and prior years before, they would have had at least most, if not all, scare zones somewhat starting to be built. As you guys can tell, we only had Sin City Zombies built, new location, which is cool, and some like scrim kind of camo wall up at Witch of the Woods. Obviously there's stuff going on behind the scenes, like houses are being built where I can't see. There's probably facades going up around areas I can't see from public spacing, which is fine. I can't go into a place I'm not allowed. So it's looking a little scary to me, but I could be proven wrong. I've been DM'd and told a few times that there are reasons as to why they haven't built it yet, and the reasons sound legit and I understand, but there's this cool thing called tarping, and you can just cover up the gruesomeness if it's too gruesome for daytime guests. I mean, other haunts do it. HHN does it every year. You know, you see bodies. You can clearly see bodies hanging, but they're covered in tarping, so just do it. Get ahead of your schedule, you know? You don't want to be behind. Little worried, but let's talk about everything returning and a few new things that are coming to the event, which I'm actually excited for. So let's start off with the houses coming to this year's event. There's one new house and the rest are returning. I don't like that idea because I have gone for years now, and I'm not talking like, you know, years past. I'm talking like, I think I've been going for 6-7 years. 5 of those being when I was a scare actor at the event. And to only see one new house showing up to the event for their 25th anniversary, it's a big ouch, kind of a big slap to the face. So anyways, let's talk about it. This house is taking over where Residents Home for the Holidays was. And if you guys don't know that version, there was just a basic version called the Residents. But this house is going in that area, and it is called Shadows of Wonderland. So basically, we are getting a Alice in Wonderland kind of twisted story. Step back into Wonderland, but not as you remember it. This warped dreamscape has come from years of torment under the Queen of Hearts' reign of terror. Once playful characters have become bitter shadows, their anger fueled by Alice's abandonment. Now you must confront this distorted reality and face a vengeful queen who wants Alice and you gone. I'm kind of excited for it. I've never fully seen a Alice in Wonderland house done. I've seen like little pieces, like they did Demented Dimensions in this location, and they kind of had a little area in the house where it was super bright colors and funness, and you could see the guy with the top hat, I don't remember his name, drawing a blank, but there was like a teapot he came out of, and you could just see, you know, kind of little Alice in Wonderland type things. So I'm excited to get a full house of this. Now it's all about execution, so let's hope they can execute it. Now let's talk about this next house, which I am actually excited for because it was one, if not my favorite house from last year's event, and this one was a new one for last year's event. It is a returning house known as D.H. Bagham's Circus of Fear. Step right up to the most horrifying spectacle ever witnessed. D.H. Bagham's collection of grotesque creatures will chill you to the bone. Beware, for the midway is a hunting ground. D.H. Bagham stalks the unexpected, snatching them away for a sinister purpose. Now I am, like I said, really excited for this house. They executed it last year very well. There were just a lot of dead spots at some time, but the scare actors did great. The theming is amazing. I mean, this is one of those houses that have a whole outside queue that you walk around before even going inside, and I love it. I love it. So I'm excited for its return. I hope they can get the casting issues kind of figured out so that there's no dead spots. I want to be able to go and just feel scared with every corner I turn. Now we have another returning house for this year's event, and we just walked through this one a few days ago, and from the looks of it, it is going to be a great house. They added some things. They created elements that mess with the senses a bit. Once a hub of lavish parties, Stranglewood Estate now echoes with the whispers of its dark past. Madame Stranglewood, a beloved socialite with a hidden penchant for cruelty, ruled this town with an iron fist. She lured unexpected servants into a secret room in the basement where she ended their lives, trapping their souls in eternal torment. Ouch. Excited, but this is also the house that is like never filled, and there's only like 4 scare actors throughout the whole house anytime I go. So if that's going to be the case again this year, I don't want it back next year. It's too big of a house to just not fill it. I mean, there needs to be scare actors everywhere. There are so many boo holes that were empty that you could just look around and be like, well, somebody should be there. It's just not fun. So let's hope they get it together, but I am excited for this house to return. Now let's go on to another returning house. I'm just gonna keep saying this because the rest are returning. This one was one of my favorites last year as well. They stepped it up after I filmed my first video. This house is returning, and it is the forgotten Uprising. A blood-soaked year has passed since the hunters first confronted the slumbering vampire army. Victory remains elusive, despair hangs heavy in the air, yet hope flickers in their wary eyes. With gritty teeth and trembling hands, they prepare for the final stand. This house isn't a fan favorite for everybody, so I don't know why they said a returning fan favorite, because a lot of people hate it and they want it gone. I wouldn't say it's my fan favorite. I would say it's a good house. I understand the storyline. You know, when they get scare actors in there, it is great. It is a party like no other, is what I'll call it. You know, you get scares, you get to see this crazy adult, you know, bondage party happening in a cave. You know, every person's dream. And our last and final house that will be coming to this year's event is yet another returning house, but rethemed, reimagined, whatever you want to call it. It is Witch of the Woods, Rise of the Coven. A malevolent force has awakened in the woods. The Witch of the Woods, Seraphina, fueled by vengeance and dark magic, has finally summoned her coven brand. The Firebringer and Kale and Stormcaller, together they have twisted once serene forest into a grotesque reflection of their power, leaving behind a trail of poison air, stagnant water, and withered life. Alright, can I just say something about this description? First off, they are using what I would think as really big words or names. Was this written by AI? Can you guys let me know in the comments below? Why does it seem so AI generated? Alrighty, let's talk about shows that will be coming to this year's event. We have a returning show known as Excr, and as you guys know, this is just like the Cirque Electric Summer Show, but spooky. Electrify and memorize stunt show that will leave you on the edge of your seat. That's it. And that is located in the Stanleyville Theater. We have a new show for this year, and it will not actually be in Gwazi Field. Thank Jesus. Maybe we will actually get really good, you know, audio, not messed up audio every show. Yeah, so this one will be called The Reckoning. It's, like I said, a brand new show. This will be held in Dragonfire Grill. Join mortal Lark as she faces her ultimate judgment day in the fiery depths of hell. So Witch of the Woods gets an AI generated kind of description for the house, but the shows get lackluster of no description. Like, to me, that's not a description. That's just like storyline. Well, let's hope they can pull it together. I mean, I enjoy Cirque Excr. It's just the same thing over and over, so I wish they would change it. And I can't tell you much about this Reckoning thing because there isn't much to go over. And the thing that nobody wants back or even asked for is Scary Freaking Okie. Yeah, my ears were pierced. They were piercing through the nights. And yeah, nobody wants that back. Take that away and budget into something else. Now let's move on to the scare zones for Howl-O-Scream 2024. We have a lot of new ones. We have a few returning, and we have a returning one that kind of disappeared last year, and we never thought we would get it back. So let's get into it right now. Our first scare zone will be located where Junkyard was last year, and it is called Terror Through Time. Now, the only reason I say it's going to be located where Junkyard is because if you really read about it, it's basically Junkyard with a new name and probably added elements around it from years past, and probably there will be some icons in that zone, and there's only a few icons because we stopped doing them for some reason. Enter the Architect's Twisted Gallery of Horror, where the past 25 years of Howl-O-Scream nightmares come to life. Now, I'm excited for this. I am excited for this because I haven't been going that long, but I do know a lot of the history as I've been learning throughout the years, and I've been talking to people, and they've been telling me, but they gotta execute it properly. And you're gonna hear me say that about a lot of things. It's because a lot of times they just don't execute it properly. Like, they sound great, they look great, but it's just not executed properly. So let's talk about our next scare zone, which is a brand new scare zone for this event. And this one I'm kind of excited for because I don't think it's ever been done. Now, they did kind of do a little kind of thing with this element at the end of Residence last year, but for it to be a full scare zone, I'm truly excited for that. This one is Lot Massacre. The once festive Evergreen Acres Christmas tree farm hides a dark secret. Whispers tell of a Christmas Eve massacre where disgruntled farmhand Celeste Evergreen sought revenge. Reading these descriptions really got my head like wonky. This doesn't sound like a person wrote these at all. It really sounds AI generated. I mean, I have never gotten descriptions like this. They used to be so basic and at least give some detail. Now the shows are getting kind of just like a storyline tell-ish, and some of these houses and zones are getting fully AI generated descriptions. That's wild to me. Alright, let's move on to our next scare zone, which is also brand new. Sawgrass Slaughter, Legend of the Skunk Ape. So, they're gonna put a big hairy guy out there who smells and have them chase people around. Sounds like a Florida man to me, or a tourist who's been in Florida too long. Venture into the depths of the Everglades, where the stench of decay and pungent musky odor fill the air. No, like, story about sightings or killings, about odor, decaying bodies. Sounds like another day in the Florida woods. I don't know how I feel about that one. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Sorry. So I'm excited for the return of this one because they did away with doing it as a scare zone and turned it into a horde. Then they completely got rid of it, and now they're returning as a scare zone, and I'm so excited. This is Little Nightmares. Years ago on Halloween night, a group of children vanished. Every Halloween they returned, reliving their final trick-or-treat. I love that description. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of, you know, the vintage kind of trick-or-treating, but also it's saying that they kind of died, and that's why we didn't have them, and now they're coming back to relive their last trick-or-treat. I love that. That may be my #1 hype so far. Alrighty, so let's talk about our next scare zone, which is a brand new scare zone, and I'm kind of worried for this one because if they don't execute it properly, it will leave people kind of angry and upset because this is a more culture-based type of zone, and with culture-based type things, you have to get it right, hit the nail on the head, or people will beat you up. This one is Ragnars Wrath. Now, this is based off of Norwegian Vikings and the kind of the Viking heritage and stuff like that. So if they don't get this right, if they don't get the mythology and the history right for this, they're going to screw it up. The icy winds of Nibelheim howls as you approach a charred Viking longhouse. Its stench of death, a prelude to the horrors within. Maybe I'm not understanding, but like, I don't know. I'm going to dive a little deeper into this one specifically because I want to make sure I'm saying things right and giving honest opinions on what I know. So I'm going to dive a little deeper into this one, and then in the next video where we go back to the park and hopefully stuff is set up and I can show you where things are going to be located, I can talk more about this one. So I don't have an opinion on this one other than what I said about them executing it properly. Let's talk about our next scare zone. It is a returning scare zone, but with a new location, and we talked about it earlier. This is Raven's Mill, the Blood Harvest. So this one is going to be a little revamped as well. Within the walls of the cornfield lies a horrific nightmare you cannot awaken. So with that description, it kind of tells me that we might be getting an actual corn maze this year. In Florida, that is a bad idea because that brings us hurricanes. It's our bad luck, and we already have one kind of twisting out in the Gulf right now that could hit us tomorrow, Monday. Who knows? But I'm excited to see where this one lands, but I'm also kind of worried that that whole area where it was last year is going to be completely empty. Now let's talk about our next scare zone. It is another returning scare zone, Sin City Zombies. On the outskirts of the Vegas Strip lies a small motel that is home to some of the best entertainers to ever live, and now is overrun by zombies who run rampant. You guys know my opinions on that one. It got better throughout the weeks. I hope that this year I can go through it on night 1 and feel like it's night 12. You know, I don't want there to be lack of anything opening night. Listen, again, I was a scare actor. I know how opening night goes. Not everything is perfect, but it can be better than bad. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be good. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to show that your event can't get things together on opening night. Another returning scare zone and our last scare zone for this year's event is Beyond the Veil. This one is really cool. It's really cool. It's not scary, but there's bright colors and neon lights and black light reactive things. It's super, super cool. I'm excited to see it return. We don't get very many of the bright colored things anymore. So, the dark fairies and orcs are dying for you to experience the depths of their magical sinister forest. So, with all that being said, how do you guys feel about this year's Howl-O-Scream 25 years? Let me know in the comments below. I'm in the middle. It's like I'm not going to super hype it up and I'm not going to try to be super mean, but I'm going to just give my honesty as I always do, and I'm kind of just excited to see where the event goes this year. But with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like always, I'll see you on the next journey. Peace.